Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I have another card to share with you today using some fun products from Ranger and Mama Elephant. I'm starting with a white card base that I've sectioned off with some post-it tape, and I'm just adding some distress inks to create a background or a night sky. And the colors that I'm using are Tumbled Glass, Broken China, and Chipped Sapphire. And these colors together make a really great evening night sky. So it looks really bad at first. In fact, I was pretty discouraged because it just looked really bad as I was doing this. But I always forget that distress inks blend really well once they're drying. So once you get the color on there and it starts to dry, it looks really good. So I got the tumbled glass on there, and I have, like you've seen, I've just put the broken china in, and I'm coming back to blend them together with more tumbled glass. And I just kept adding and adding. For the sake of boring video, I have cut that out. But as you can see, I have kept adding color, and here I'm adding some more, or some chipped sapphire, to the very top to get the darkest part of the sky. Blending those really well between the two, and surprisingly it blended really well, and I really liked the results. Once that was done, I do believe I hit it with my heat tool. I apologize, I let it sit. Here's the magic where you remove that tape, and I always get giddy when I see that crisp line of ink and white. So I folded the card base and I set it aside, and I let it to dry so that I could work on the other parts of the card. I'm using Bear Hugs from Mama Elephant, and I'm just mounting the bear stamp onto an acrylic block using some black hybrid licorice ink from My Favorite Things, which is Copic friendly. And I'm just stamping that onto some Neenah Solar White. I think it's their 110 pound to color in with Copics. And I will be using the E53, E55, E57, and the darkest E59. I've sped it up a little bit. I don't know how you feel about watching someone color, but I get bored pretty easily. So I sped it up and kind of cut out some parts of it. So I'm just adding the shadows, and I just keep going darker and darker. I thought these colors were warm and bear-like. I don't know. The fur reminded me of a lighter colored bear. So I'm just coloring in, like I said, the shadows, and this bear is just, and this little cub are just too cute. I decided to make a Father's Day card with this, and just thought it was appropriate for that occasion. So here I just finished up the cub and adding some deeper shadows to under the arm, and I will end up cutting this out here. And for the sake of time, I just edited through that. So here's the bear, and I'm darkening the edges with a black Copic marker. It's the 100. I really don't recommend doing this, but I don't have a Memento, like a water-based marker to color the edges, so I just use that. But be careful, because I've ruined my images that way. Moving on. So I have the grass dies from My Favorite Things, and I'm just cutting that out of some basil cardstock, and I apologize, I don't remember what color this is, but it's more of a grassy, limey color. I don't know. That made no sense, but so I'm cutting that grass out of this green cardstock, and I'm going to trim that down. But first, I'm adding some peeled paint distress ink to accent the blades of grass. So I trimmed it and added it to my card panel. I'm adding some here I'm stamping and coloring the moon. I used squeezed lemonade mustard seed and the newest fossilized amber to highlight or color in this moon, and then I trimmed it out and set it aside while I heat embossed my sentiment. And I'm using the eCape Success powder tool. I used to use the bag, but I like the amount of powder that it gives out with that tool for some reason. I don't know. So I'm adding the grass. I'm kind of laying it out so that I know where I want to add my sentiment, which I'm going to white heat emboss onto the sky. So again, using the sentiments from that set, I'm heat embossing, or I'm using Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink that will hold the heat emboss, or the white powder while I heat set it. And here I'm just stamping that out. And we'll add the powder to that after I move everything aside. It always makes me nervous because I'm always afraid I'll warp my card really bad and there's no return. And you really need to heat your heat gun for a really good long time. Like my heat tool is a Darice. It's cheaper and it takes a good minute to get good and hot where I don't have warping. So it's not something to keep in mind. If you have I think it's a Milwaukee or something higher end, then it might not take as long, but mine seems to take a really long time. And I didn't get as much warping as I thought I would, so that was nice. I'm adding some stars, and then I will again heat set it with some white powder. And for some reason, I'm having lots of fun with videos lately, and my video cut off quickly at the end. So I put the card together, adhered the grass with foam tape, and adhered my bears and the moon, and that pretty much finished up the card. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.